Getting ready for the show, folks. An hour with Bob. Our guest tonight, the mayor of the city of Pawtucket and Lance Hill. Getting ready for the show. An hour with Bob begins right now. That's late, huh? Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of An Hour with Bob. We're here tonight. We got a couple interesting guests. I've been trying to get this guy on for a while. He's been so busy, and Lance, too. New guy on the block. I get to learn about Lance tonight. Lance is the, I guess he's the director of, what is he, director of Public Works in the city of Pawtucket?
It depends what day, Bob, yeah.
It depends on what day?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the day.
I got to say hi to you, Don
Well, thank you.
Grebien.
And great to be here, Bob. I appreciate it.
Mayor of the city of Pawtucket, my city, folks. And Lance Hill it is.
That's correct, yes.
And Lance, where are you from?
I grew up in Arizona, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that. We're in Arizona.
I did a little mining community.
Give me the town. I know cities.
You
Probably
don't know
been
it.
there.
You don't know. Morenci is the name of the town.
Oh, I've been close by. I've been to
Big
Tempe. I've
copper
been to
mining town.
Mesa. I've been to Scottsdale. I've been to Phoenix. I've been to
But never to
Flagstaff.
Morenci.
But I've been by there. I've been near there.
I'm sure you have.
I've been near there. How's that? All right? Morenci. How's that, huh?
Yeah, great.
How long you been up here?
I've been up here for about 13 winters.
Really? Now, what is that how you establish? You go by winter?
Yeah.
We say years, right?
Right. Winters, yeah.
Winters. Why is it winters?
Growing up in Arizona, that's how they determine the time. How long have you lived in Arizona? I've been out here 10 summers, because that's just a brutal time.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
I kind of relate it the same man up here.
Oh, come on. Rhode Island, winters
Just
are
the winter
mild.
time.
Come
Listen,
on, you
and after last year with all the problems we had with equipment and everything, all the
Yes.
challenges we had, it's probably your best winter.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Weather-wise, you had a great winter last winter.
Yeah, well, that snow's not something that I've always been used to, but it's something that we're
You're getting
better
used
at.
to.
Yeah,
Huh?
absolutely.
You're getting used to the snow, huh?
Whether we like it or not.
So you are the head of the
DBW.
DBW, right?
Public Works.
So I said, did I say it right?
You did.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Because correct. I thought I had a correction there. So you handle what? What is your day-to-day job?
Well-
Besides snow, we know snow in the wintertime, and we are here to talk about. We are going to talk about rubbish, and
We're gonna do a little
that
trash
is not
talking.
rubbish, but we're talking about rubbish, right?
Right,
Talking about
right.
trash
Well,
collection.
we do a lot of the constituent services type of
Okay.
work for the city, like trash, like roadways, potholes.
Stuff that affects everybody on a daily
That's
basis.
right.
Right.
That's
Quality
right.
life.
Trash is
Basically,
certainly
You know,
one of those.
absolutely. You've been involved for a long time, and you know how much that means to people. You're absolutely right.
It's absolutely hands-on. In fact, my stepdaughter works and she handles a lot of the baloney over there.
She does. She
Oh,
receives a lot of the
Gigi,
phone calls. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you've changed things, Mayor, this year. You did something, was it last year?
Last year, it started, yeah.
It started last year.
Well, we started, we went out and we privatized because we had to, from an operational standpoint, in order to keep the city, we started looking
Rubbish
at
removal.
rubbish removal. So we went out, we changed over. First, we went over to have our trash picked up, and then we started what? In August was the recycling.
In August, yeah.
In
this year.
August of this year. So we went out and we changed it. We're doing the automatic pickup, with the arms and stuff. So, and with a private company, and
Right.
it seems to be working. I mean, things are a lot better, a lot cleaner.
I like the barrels, I'll tell you
Absolutely,
that.
the barrels.
Those barrels are pretty cool. They had to be expensive. Those barrels had to cost money.
They do. They're about $60 a piece.
That's
for each one
all?
of the
I would
barrels,
think there'd be
yeah.
more.
No, there's about, we included it with the cost of the contract going with the new company.
Oh, it's their problem then. It's their
Well,
responsibility.
we're paying over the 5 years of the
Right, right.
contract as part of the
Okay.
pricing. But yeah, they did the upfront cost.
Now, am I correct in assuming somebody said that they had a chip in them?
They do, a radio frequency ID tag.
Oh, so my neighbor can't steal my trash barrel.
That's
Well, they
that's the
could.
point. They
Well, they could find it.
You get it back, right?
But yes, they all come equipped with an RFID tag, and they all have a serial number on the front. So, we would utilize that as a asset management system. Because they're $60 a piece and we have about 26,000 of them out in the city,
Wow.
it's a considerable chunk of change. The carts do belong to the city.
Now, yeah, I know. That's why I haven't. Usually, when I buy a trash barrel, I paint it. I put my street number on it,
yeah, right.
I haven't done that to those because I didn't buy them. Is that okay? Can I paint mine? Can I put the number on it, the street number?
You can. We have seen certain people have put their number on them. A lot of people are just used to doing it that way.
You won't get cited or fined, by the way,
I
so
won't
you'll be
get
fine.
fined?
No.
All right.
But the purpose of the serial number and the RFID tag is so that if it does get misplaced or disappears,
It can, or there's an argument or something.
Or there's
some
an
kind of
argument.
disagreement. Right?
they all look the same. So often they'll end up in somebody else's driveway, and we're able to track those and bring them back when the dispute arises.
Now, the difference between those big blue, what are they, like 60 gallons or something? They're big.
95 gallon.
That 90, oh my
They are.
God, they're
Yeah, they are.
huge. They are huge. You can fit a person there, a couple people in there.
Yep, we've talked about that too.
Oh, really? If they had it in the old days in Providence, it would have been better. They didn't have to use the trunks of their cars, right? In the the mafia days, before your time, you put them on the hill,
my time, right.
that type of thing. But you know what I like about them? You don't have to separate the papers and the plastic
Yeah,
and
it's
the
all in one
bottles
now.
and the cans, and you can throw them all in there, right?
Yeah, that's actually a state program. That's called single stream recycling. That's something that they only started in April of 2013, where you can now mix everything into the one container. And that's been a big help. And that's part of the reason why we went to the larger bins. Be easier for the constituents to throw everything in, store it on their property, and get it out to the curb.
We do have a smaller bin for the elderly, we say, or for those that are
Right.
with disabilities. What is it, 60?
65 gallon.
Okay, so a smaller bin, and so
Right.
that way if they're not using it, and we've asked to encourage everybody to take the bins, the original bins, the 95 gallon, go through them, and if they want another one, a smaller
can
one,
switch off.
it out, right, but try it for a few weeks because
Right.
you don't realize we're going from every week of recycling.
To every other week.
other week, so that, accumulating a lot more.
But the trash pickup is every week.
The
Correct.
trash and the yard waste, that hasn't changed. But the recycling is, yes, the every other week. That's been kind of the big change along with the new big blue bins to go every other week. And it's actually gone a little smoother than we were anticipating.
Really?
For most of the residents here, that's a pretty big change for them.
Sure.
Now my recycling is collected every 2 weeks. And we have had a number of bumps along the way as we kind of anticipated. But for the most part, it's been really smooth. And that's a big credit to the residents who are responding appropriately.
So you pick up the recyclables every other week, the trash every week.
Yeah.
Now, and I know people have, because my tenants certainly have trouble with that, and it irritates the heck out of me when they put out their trash the day after you pick up the trash. I try to tell them that garbage is going to remain. I'm not talking about recyclables now.
Right.
The trash, the garbage, is going to remain in the bin for a week.
Right.
Use your head, put it out Wednesday night. My trash is on Thursday morning, put it out Wednesday night, except on holidays, right?
Right.
Except on holidays.
Now, holidays applies for both recyclables and the regular
Yes.
trash, right?
And for yard waste, yeah, we delay all of the refuse collection services by a day when there's a holiday in the week. Most holidays are on Monday, so we delay after the holiday.
Yeah, day after.
But some of them are day specific, so we delay after that. For instance, if July
Thanksgiving.
4th was on a Wednesday,
Right.
we would delay the Thursday and Friday collections, but we wouldn't delay the Monday and Tuesday collections.
Oh, I got you. How about Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, we do a 1 day delay.
Right. So
And we-
my pickup would be Friday instead of Thursday.
Right.
Yes, correct. Well,
Yep.
assuming you're a Thursday collection.
I am a Thursday. I thought we established that there.
Well, it's funny because, and that's one of the confusion points that we've had from, my 3 years being there and my years on the council, what day is a holiday? Because certain Rhode Island holidays are not always holidays.
Right.
Which ones are city employee holidays? So in the last few years, we've always established them in the calendar. They may change a little
Yeah, I
bit
like
this year.
the
but I picked
calendar.
them. Yeah, you've
handout
got
you
to-
said, that was actually on the barrel themselves,
Yeah.
right? They were
Yeah,
on
we distributed the flyers that we made on every single barrel that went out.
Right.
And they each came with a
Let me see
calendar
that.
for the
Now
for the year.
I'm going to hold this up. You got that? Corey's clipping his hand, snapping his fingers for me. That's Corey Welch over there. He's there you go. In the green is when the recyclables, right? That's for the recyclables, is
You
it?
got it.
That's correct, yes.
Which is again every other week.
And you'll notice
What's the blue? The blue is the
blue's a
holiday?
holiday. And you'll
Okay.
notice a code on there, RTD. That would mean that the recycling and trash was delayed. There are certain weeks where there's a holiday, but the recycling's not collected, so we're only delaying the trash, of course, on those days.
Now you're gonna confuse me, right?
Right.
I know, that's,
Confuse people now.
Right, and that's how people, you know what, change, you know, Bob, you know how we are.
Okay, I
People
know.
don't,
That's why you gotta have this, folks. You gotta put this up. You put it somewhere where you can see it. I have it in my hallway. I have it put up in the hallway for the tenants to see it, and guess what? It don't make any difference.
Right.
They still put the trash out the day after.
well, we encourage anybody, if you have any questions, whether it is or it isn't a trash day, please just call Public Works, and we can certainly help you out in that way.
Yeah?
and it's on the website too for those, you know what I mean? We still have a balance of population, you know what I mean? So we have a lot of the older residents,
Right.
you know, that may not have access or may not want to be bothering with a computer, so we do the calls, but then it's on the web as well. And we try to get as much information as we can, but you can never give them too much information, you know?
No.
I mean, I was questioning, as I was putting my recycle in my due this week, I had asked my wife, because I didn't have my calendar hang up, saying, hey, is this week recycling? And she goes, no, it was last week. Okay, so I'm good, you know, so.
Now, is your wife still working?
Yep, she's still
at Greg's?
She's Greg. She's actually the HR director now over there at Greg's.
Oh, no
she's
kidding.
she's doing corporate and bouncing around to the stores. Was a year in July that she became the HR director. She loves it down there. She does.
Wow.
She works with Dale a lot. She has a great, we assist her. Great people. You know
And,
what I mean?
and she's working for Bob Bacon now.
Bob Bacon is awesome as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A good guy. You know.
Yeah, I remember when he started with Ted Fuller
Yep.
back in the day.
Yep.
And,
So good restaurant, good chain. You know what
yeah.
I mean? They've got a
Great
great
desserts.
clientele. Absolutely great clientele. I mean,
Great desserts.
I know that's the problem.
I know, I know,
So,
I know.
you know.
What do you get all the scraps? I get all the take home.
I'll
I
take
love
it, you
their
know, so-
eclairs, man.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'll get.
And
I'll
there's
get in
nothing
trouble
small.
for that. Huh?
There's nothing small about the dessert.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, they got. You know what I did one time? I was in the movie Meet Joe Black,
That's right.
and we worked 5.5 weeks. I was there. We went in 6 o'clock at night. We pull over to the Rocky Point, parked our cars there, and we get in school buses, and they shuttled us over to the
Set.
set,
Yeah,
over to
yeah.
the mansion. And first night I'm there, I realized there's something went off in my head. I go, whoa, this is something good, can be good for my friends at Greg. So the next day, I called the Fullers, right?
Yeah.
Ted
yeah.
Fuller.
Time to time. Yeah.
And I said, you know what would be a great idea? I'll go over there tomorrow and I'll bring a bunch of menus. We got 650 extras, not including all the PAs, not including the director and all the
Yeah, right,
actors and
everybody,
everything. And I'll give them around. In fact, it might be a good idea, Ted, if I bring some samples. He says, well, go to the store in Warwick and take what you want. He said, I'll call over there.
Yeah.
He knew what
Yeah.
he knew I knew what to do.
Yeah.
So I go over there and I go, they get the, all the
Yeah,
case, all the
absolutely.
dessert cases there, right? And I go, and fortunately they had the little eclairs too, which I love the eclairs, but the little ones, you can just, just like
Yeah,
eating
so
it.
pop.
Pop, you know. So I says, yeah, I want a couple trays of them, and I want a couple trays, and you see these brownies? I want you to cut them in 4, each one of the brownies, which are too big anyway.
Right.
Cut them in 4 or 8s or something, and trays of them. I put like 4 trays of them. They put them all in my car, and I said, oh, let me have that cheesecake right there, that pinwheel
pinwheel.
cheesecake, the one all different flavors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They had the
yeah.
strawberries and cherries and the pineapples and everything.
Hey, you're making me hungry.
So I get over to the set, and you're supposed to drop your car off at
Yeah, right,
Rocky Point, but I drive right to the set because I'm cool now. I got a load for them. So I say right to the guards,
the
I go,
deal.
you got some stuff here too for you guys, for the guards, the security, right? I let them take
Yep.
their goodies, and I drove right into the set, park the car, and I get out with trays, and I bring the trays in to the director, one tray in to the director of the brownies, one tray of
Yeah. The assorted.
the
or whatever.
eclairs, and I passed them all out and to all the people, right? None to the damn people on none to the extras. This was all to the big shots. I said, I'll get them the next night. Then I take the pinwheel cheesecake. What do you think I did with that?
I don't know. Took it home?
Now this is a teaser, folks. We're gonna do. I'm gonna show you a clip, folks. Since you're from the state, the desert state, you talk about you're cold up here.
Right.
I'd rather be cold up here than warm down there. and plus, this is the ocean state. You know why we're called the ocean state? Because we have more coastline, proportion of population and state size than any other state. You know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
And one reason, do we have that clip ready? Yes. All right, I'll show that clip. I'm going to show you a house down in Newport Harbor that most Americans, most Rhode Islanders certainly haven't been close to, and no American has. And you got to see a close-up shot of it here. It's in Newport Harbor.
A whole 83 years up and associated with the Atlantic Ocean.
Clingstone is owned by retired architect Henry Wood, and it's a house Henry has known all his life.
We used to sail by this house all the time, and the house was empty from 41 till 61.
One day in 1961, Henry noticed a sign on the house that read, "For sale, see any broker." Wouldn't it be great, he thought, to live in the middle of the bay? So Henry did a little investigating. It soon became clear that this was no move-in ready property.
The house was a wreck.
With no doors and 65 broken windows, you could stand in the basement and see the sky. Henry bid $3,600, and Clingstone was his.
I've got this 23-room house for $3,600, and I cannot tell you how much I love it.
Despite its seclusion, Clingstone has its own power, running water, and plumbing. But with no car or driveway to park one on, how exactly does one run to the store for, say, a gallon of milk? The answer? A 20-foot workboat, perfect for short excursions to and from the mainland. The home has achieved quite a bit of fame over the years, appearing in magazines, on television, and in movies.
This incredible structure that looms out of this rock, surrounded by water. It's just one of the most incredible monumental feats, I think, of architecture around.
Visitors to Clingstone will notice immediately that the entire property is shingled, both inside and out, with each room stained its own unique shade. Age-old oak beams support the structure's 3.5 stories. The rock that adorns the home was all blasted from the island itself. Maybe that's why there's so little island left.
Didn't have to transport it in any way. It was here already.
Clingstone was built with the idea that the sea would always be in view. There are 65 windows in 23 rooms, each with a gorgeous panoramic view of the water.
One of my favorite features is just being able to access outside, just how the inside and the outside are just joined together. You just have decks all around the whole house, balconies, you can go out to the roof. It's marvelous. What I always loved about Clingstone is how it surrounds you at 360 degrees of movement, the sounds, the visuals, the ocean. It's the water. It's Narragansett Bay, one of the most beautiful bays in the world. It's something that isn't populated by industrial anything. It's magnificent estates, a magnificent place.
If ever a home was all about water, Clingstone is it. Whether it's the flickering bay and the late afternoon sunset, or a storm bringing great waves that pound relentlessly on the rocks below, to reside at Clingstone means to embrace a life at sea. Of course, there's swimming, and a floating dock makes the perfect platform for sunbathing or just enjoying the salty sea air. At almost any given time, hundreds of sailboats are visible from the top floor of the home. But while the 360-degree view is breathtaking, sometimes it can get crowded, like when giant cruise ships sail by almost close enough to touch. What was once crumbling and uninhabitable is now a warm and inviting gathering place for family and friends.
This is a party house. It's a wonderful social environment. It's a great place. It handles people well, and people handle it well.
A 107-year-old house constantly battered by the sea requires plenty of upkeep. But for caretaker David Leclerc, it's a labor of love.
It's a wonderfully inspirational place. And when you work here, you feel like you're working on Clingstone. You feel like you're really helping the place. You love it. It's love. It's just an enriching place. You feel like you're a better human being for having been here. And to be part of it is just amazing.
This house has been a good part of my life. The ocean and I are one. So it's a great house in every way, and I still love it, and I always will.
How cool is that, huh? How was the light? How was that?
Yeah,
Now, that's not the desert. We don't have just brown. That's the thing I noticed driving through Arizona. Everything is brown.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
you know what kills me? When people say to me, well, Everything's air conditioned. Well, guess what? You got to get out of the air conditioning. And I
at
like
some
to be
point.
outside.
Yeah.
I like to be outside, whether it be in Rhode Island or in Florida or wherever. I want to be outside. I don't want to be stuck indoors all the time. And you can't be inside when it's so damn hot. And then you get in your car and you're dying. You're roasted when you get in your car. I'd be sweating before I got the car air conditioning going.
I understand that. You know,
Right.
I'm so fair-skinned too. I had to wear long
Oh,
sleeves.
I'm not. Look what I did. Look at my head from. I was doing my other show, Bob's Big Adventure, all last weekend. I was at Federal Hill Festival.
Yeah.
I was at Woonsocket Autumn Fest. In fact, I was in the Autumn Fest parade.
Yeah.
And I was.
And you didn't
I
put
was
any
down in
sunscreen
Situate.
on.
I didn't think about it, and I got nailed. I got nailed pretty good.
Well, you know, the hair's thinning out now, Bob, a
Yeah,
little
what are
bit.
you
You know what
trying
I mean?
to
So I'm talking about mine.
But even if
That's
it
why-
wasn't, even if it wasn't, I still get burnt. You know, you still we're fair skinned. I'm mostly Italian, but I'm a little bit of Irish too. So I get that fair skin burn all the time.
Well, you know, you couple the heat with wearing long sleeves too. I couldn't take
You
it.
don't wear long sleeves down there?
I had
do you?
to. I mean, you know, they don't make sunscreen strong enough for guys.
Oh
like me.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, you just have to put on
Right,
the
right.
100 sunscreen.
I graduated from college on Friday and moved on Saturday.
Did you really?
I was out
You
of
get the
there.
heck out of there. Yeah, you got to this. Well, one thing about New England is I'm told this by so many people, especially in the military, that New Englanders can adapt to any climate. Do you know that? Did you know
That's
that?
interesting. No, because it makes sense because of all the seasons we go through, all the changes. Yeah.
Most parts of the country and parts of the world don't
Yeah,
have 4
structure.
seasons. They have 1 or 2 seasons. They don't have 4. You know, you go to Michigan, up that way, they have 1 season. It's
Yeah.
winter. But you go down you have just summer. You don't have any. We have 4 seasons. So that's why a lot of Rhode Islanders, they go to Florida and they come back because they can't take it. It's brutal in the summertime in Florida. It's even worse than Arizona because it's humid.
My mother has a place down in Florida. She's on the East Coast. We just had her home for a month. She came home September. She flew in on September 11th. She stayed till October, last week sometime, a little over a month. And it was too cold.
Well, because she
Right, because she was
supposedly
down there.
your
Absolutely, I know. But you know what I mean?
Your blood
and
thins
so,
out or whatever. Yes.
You know, she had to get home before November because it was going to be too cold. I'll be back to visit you in the
Well, that's
spring
good
and
too.
summer.
There's
you know
nothing
what I
wrong
mean?
with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd like that. I'd like that. No, well, I left the folks with the, telling them, what did I do with the pinwheel cheesecake? Remember what I did with the pinwheel cheesecake?
No.
I knocked on the door of one of the stars of the movie. My favorite star of the movie was Anthony Hopkins. And he had his trailer with the star on it and his name, and I knocked on his door. He answered his door. And you're not supposed to, as an extra, you're not supposed to
You're not supposed to
fraternize
be,
with the...
you're not even close.
You're not supposed to talk to him.
yeah,
You're not supposed to... Nothing. Not look at him, whatever. I
But
knocked on his
you've
door.
been known to cross a few lines.
I know.
so,
My second night there, I knock on the door. I got a whole pinwheel cheesecake, right? He opens the door in a row. And he goes, what's this? I said, this is a welcome to Rhode Island cheesecake from Greg's Restaurant. Oh, my God. Oh, thank you. Come on in. He invites me in. We put the cheesecake down. He had tea because he's English. So we sat down, had a spot of tea. And he said, I can't eat this stuff, but you're not going to say anything, are you? I go, no. So we sat down and we had a piece of cheesecake. He had pineapple, by the way. He had a piece of pineapple. I said, that's funny. That's my favorite kind, too. So we split a chunk of pineapple cheesecake. And that man, for 5 weeks, made sure he talked to me. He would come over and hug me almost every night we were there.
Yeah.
He'd hug a lot of the women, too. But thankfully, But he'd always come over and give me a hug. And I call him Anthony. I used to call him Anthony when he'd come down.
Yeah,
It was
see,
funny.
exactly.
We had a lot of fun on that show. But getting back to the point of going there in Greg's Restaurant, the fact of Greg's Restaurant came full circle.
Yeah.
And I passed out menus to everybody.
Yeah.
The third night I was there, I went back and I got some stuff for
for
all
the
the
other
extras,
girls.
too.
Yeah.
But that was the fun. See, you missed that down in Arizona. You don't get that. Although you must have had a lot of movies down there. Although they don't have as many westerns as they used to, but all the westerns were filmed down there in Yuma, Arizona. Oh, that's
Old Tucson was a nice little western.
There you
studio
go,
out
yeah.
there, so.
yeah.
What it was like the dessert mud pie, no pun.
No. How often does it rain in Arizona?
We do not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah, certainly not.
What did you think of that building there in Newport Harbor?
That's pretty interesting.
That
Yeah.
building's 107 years old, was it? I know it was over 100 years old, that
yeah,
building. It
yeah.
didn't look it, did
Yeah.
it?
all the money they put into it. We're still trying to figure out how they get the utilities there.
You
so.
didn't hear, I know, you know what I don't understand is how they get the sewerage there. I don't know, because it said it had its own water and sewerage.
yeah.
I don't get that. I can see maybe you drill a well underneath the water, maybe,
Yeah.
but where does the sewerage go? That's what I don't
We'll leave
get.
that one for another day.
You know something, we're talking about it already. I am going to see if I can't get on that island. I'm going to try to get on that island, see if I can do an adventure over on that island on my own to see if I can go over there and see what's happening on that. Do you know the Rose Island, as you see
Yeah, yep.
going over the Newport
bridge,
Bridge over
yep.
to the right, they have a bed and breakfast on that island, you know.
The boat, you take the boat over, right? It's a
Yep.
boat, yeah. Yep.
Yep,
I've
from
never
Rhode
been,
Island,
but yep.
take it, they've invited me over there.
Yep.
You take the boat over there, and where they used to have the lighthouse.
Yeah.
That building is a bed and breakfast now. It's run. Yeah,
That's right, yeah, I did hear that. And, what, like 3-4 rooms? It's very small, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a different
Yeah,
room, yeah.
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 That's a cool place. That would be a cool
Yeah.
place to go to. And speaking of Pawtucket, since you are the mayor of
Speaking
Pawtucket,
of cool places.
cool places in
All right.
Pawtucket, and Pawtucket gets a bad rap. And you know, I've lived in East Greenwich. I've lived in Pawtucket, grew up in Pawtucket all my life.
Right.
But I lived in East Greenwich for a few years, and I used to hear it from people other than from Pawtucket. And they knock the valley, for
Yeah.
instance. Not
Yep.
only Pawtucket, Central Falls, even Cumberland, whatever. Oh, it's not like down
Yeah,
in South
down
Carolina.
south
And maybe
Carolina.
it's not. But it's not what they say it is either. I mean, it's not. It's still Pawtucket's got a lot of great places
Absolutely.
in this city
Sure,
to
yeah.
see and be around. And for instance, I'm a realtor, and I was contacted by a doctor friend of mine who wanted to look at a piece of property on Underwood Street.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the house, the second house in from the corner?
Yeah, it's
of-
up for sale now. It's recently in one of the older mansions there, right?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Have you seen inside that
No,
place?
I've never been in it, but
The woodwork in there is pristine. It has never had a nail on it. The woodwork has never had paint on it. It's got just a stain
Yep.
and clear shellac. There's no nail holes anywhere in any of the door frames, any of the window frames, nothing. I think it has 11 fireplaces in that house. And every one of them's got the most beautiful mantle and the flooring. Oh my God, it's not just the regular, it's certainly not pine. It's oak flooring, and it's not just the regular, just straight boards. I mean, it's cut on diagonals. It's gorgeous. That whole property is beautiful.
yeah, there is some beautiful properties over there. Yeah.
And you really can't notice the house because you only see the side of it because it's
Right,
pitched sideways. You have to drive in the driveway to see the front of the house,
Okay. Yep.
right?
Yeah,
The front
yeah,
and the
you're
back.
right,
The
in
back has
yeah.
3 huge porches. It's beautiful. And right away, I brought a friend of mine who was on the show last show. She was from Rhode Island, and she moved to L.A. She's a casting director out in L.A. And I showed her pictures of it. She's, oh my God, this would be perfect for a movie, to cast a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That house, if that house was on Blackstone Boulevard, it'd be worth $2 million.
Absolutely. Yeah. Different
And
set,
it's
you know.
less than $500,000.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. You know, and so we do have some wonderful, wonderful assets. We really do. You know what I mean? We take them for granted. You know, our infrastructure, we struggle. You know what I mean? We have a changing community, all that put together. So
Right.
that's why people like, you know, not as much money, but we do have some great, you know, old homes. The house that Lori and I have been in, I have to think it was right before Connor was born, so we've been there 13 years. And on Vine Street, and it was the woodwork. It was the older woodwork,
Yes,
never been
you
painted.
can't match
No,
that stuff.
Absolutely not. You know what I mean?
You cannot match. And the ceilings, by the way, the inlaid ceilings and everything, back in the day, that was real plaster. Now they make it out of styrofoam and they paint it, you know?
Yep, absolutely. It's a different setting now, you know?
The staircase was, it's out of this world, really is.
Yeah.
But getting back to Pawtucket,
Go
now
ahead.
what the hell possessed you to run for mayor of Pawtucket?
That's a good question, Bobby. I don't know to this day. Right? You know, it's funny.
Well, you were a councilman.
Yeah,
for
I was
how
on the
many
council
years?
for 11 years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I served on the council. When I started, I say in the game, I always wanted to help people, legitimately. You know, as phony as sometimes people say, you're not.
Right.
It really is what got me involved. I like the people part of the business, you know.
Yep.
Some of the political stuff, you know, if we didn't have to deal with it, you wouldn't want to, you know, I would choose not to. But really got involved, you know. I had 11 years on the council, and I just saw it at the time, you know, having a young family, it was a change in direction. Mayor Doyle, you know, a lot of respect for it, just different ends of the pendulum, you know, and I'm sitting there saying, you know, I'm born and raised, I'm going to bring my children up, you know, we need to focus in more on education and just challenging. And I had the private business, worked for American Slater Wire for 16
Right.
years, saw a lot of the changes that we had to do in private business to survive, like anybody was doing, and
Sure.
didn't see in government. And, you know, at that point it'd be 5 years ago, I ran against, you know, the incumbent Mayor Doyle and, you know, did very well. but lost. I mean,
Right.
but put me in a good position. So I haven't been there 3 years. I've put on quite a few pounds, got a little gray, but it's, it's all good. I still enjoy the job. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
There are decisions that you have to make. We talked a little bit about, as we talk about trash, and you talk about when we privatized, and it was very controversial because
Yeah,
people were afraid.
you got to have the unions had to be
Yeah, they were, and
against you.
it was very difficult too because the unions had supported me, and
Right,
and
right.
never made any false promises, and that's one thing about the way we handle the administration is we're always up front. We are fortunate where we didn't have to let anybody go. We were able to save the jobs, but that was trying times. We did some things against we had to do for the fire.
So nobody
department.
got fired, right? None of the union
nobody lost
people
their
that
job.
worked in
No.
in
They had to bid in
That's
other
correct.
jobs.
trash.
Yeah.
They moved into different other jobs, right?
They
Seniority.
moved into different
Right,
departments.
right. They bid out.
Right.
They bid out.
They were also
I used to
offered an
work for the
opportunity.
city a long time
Oh,
ago.
okay, okay.
They also were offered an opportunity to go with the private contractor because
Oh.
as part of the contract they had
Okay.
made a commitment. I don't think anybody ended up going to the private contractor. Because most of the people that were in sanitation had been there for years, many years, so it wasn't worth them starting a
Right,
new career.
right.
And you understand that. But so what I was saying by is, so some of the things you've had to do, to keep the city, we talk about the bankruptcy, we talk about all the time. We talk about the $14 million structural problem. We've had to make some of the
Right.
tough decisions. They weren't easy. And you're always affecting people's lives. So that part of the job I wish we didn't have to do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, having a young family, wanting Pawtucket to be more, I know that Pawtucket has a lot more to offer. And it's really about image building, it's marketing, but we need to get our house in order, and that's what we're trying to do.
Right, and that's a testament to you because you didn't have to go to bankruptcy like
Yep.
other communities had to, and are still dealing with. And
Yeah.
Woonsocket for one.
Yep, and we know we've got a call with Fitch Rating this week here, hoping to get a bond rating increase. We're not sure. We have been able to put a lot of the financial cash flow and some of the surplus that we've had to our rainy day is what they look for. We've made a lot of the changes that they've asked us to make as far as getting our expenses under control. Still having some challenges with the school side of it. And so we'll see how we make out with our conference call with with Fitch Rating.
Right.
So, but we're optimistic. But we are definitely in a much better place. We didn't have to do the tax increase this last year. Our goal is
Thankfully.
not to do it again next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, But a lot of that are the things that we're doing. When we privatize this, and there are reasons that we're doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we didn't have the dollars to invest in equipment. Equipment hasn't been invested in 15 years or so. The oldest equipment on some of it.
Yeah, and that was a big factor in changing over is our equipment was.
Now, when you
Really, really
privatize,
outdated.
that equipment is theirs or ours?
The
The trucks.
the city owned trucks, and we still actually do own trucks. They're sitting at DPW, but many of the trucks were 20, 25 years
Sure.
old. With, I think one of them had 500,000 miles on it. It's just
Wow.
unbelievable.
And
So
that's
they
some
put the-
bad mileage too.
Right. And they
going around
put
the city.
Band-Aids on it. We're going to be
Right.
out selling some of it for surplus.
Right.
We're going to keep some of it. They've done the analysis on what's worth keeping,
Sure.
potentially, and what's we're not investing. And so, whether the company bids on it, somebody else bids on some of the equipment, it's probably a lot of it's only good for scrap. You know what I mean? When you start putting it in perspective. But
Sure.
for all the years they put Band-Aids on it, it was millions of dollars that we would have had to invest, and then you're making the choice, you're saying, okay, do you put the millions of dollars investment in the sanitation trucks, or do we go out and invest in the public safety? So we're out, we had to buy a new ladder, we had to buy a new rescue, 2 new rescues we were fortunate enough to buy. We're out doing those things, and you start balancing what's the priority for the quality of life and the services you provide.
Right.
It was, a decision you had to make, so. But in a much better position, we've got some infrastructure stuff, our roads we still know are horrible. We're trying to figure out a way with the council, we're up there looking at some bonding. And bonding is the only thing that we have, because nothing, Bob, has been built into any of the budgets, the operational budget,
Right.
for maintenance and repairs. There's nothing there, you know what I
Nothing
mean?
for maintenance and repairs.
I shouldn't say nothing, but
and
very,
and
very
we have,
minimal.
we
Very
have, and I
small.
tell
Yeah,
people
very
this all the time. Pawtucket we own 3 reservoirs, right?
Yeah,
2 plus 1 small one, right?
yeah,
Both in
for the water
Cumberland,
supply,
only-
well, actually, water supply owns them, but yeah.
Water supply owns them.
Yep.
They have good water. It's
Yeah.
just the distribution system that's not that good. It's getting there, I guess, as you change.
But the Pawtucket
Roads.
system
Yeah, go
is
ahead.
actually very, very good. They've invested a lot of money over the last.
Oh,
few
the
years.
system is, but some of this in the streets, the pipes in some of the streets.
They've invested a lot of
it,
money over
yeah.
the last few years, actually repairing and replacing all
Right,
of those.
as you go along, but all of them are not done yet, right?
Right, no, but I don't know what the percentage is, but a vast majority of them are done. They're the bigger
Pawtucket,
lines
right.
in Pawtucket. Yeah, now they're actually, because we have the water supply board also feed Central Falls and they're
Right.
responsible for a line.
Part
they're
of
out there
North Providence
doing-
too, I think.
They're doing all the lines in
Maryville
Central
section
Falls,
of
right?
North Providence, I
You know,
think.
and
Yeah.
some of Cumberland, you know.
Right.
In fact, we just got, there's a settlement. There was taxes that were owed to Cumberland because of Cumberland overtaxing us overtaxing the Water Supply Board. So there was a settlement agreement.
So you got money
over the
coming
10 years.
from?
No.
The other way around.
The Water Supply Board hadn't been paying, so Cumberland gets some of the.
Oh.
Well, we pay taxes to Cumberland.
Right.
Because of the
Right,
assets.
exactly.
Pawtucket, because we own and operate the water supply system, we can't tax it. So the ratepayers are paying for taxes in Cumberland and other communities because they're allowed to tax the infrastructure. We can't as the host community.
Cut it out.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, because then people would be paying a higher rate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can balance that out as a ratepayer. I'm going to pay more. I don't want to pay more. So those are the challenges, But the Water Supply Board has been doing a very good job on the repairing and replacing.
Because I do remember, people know this, I worked in the road administration.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
And I defended him on the last show, I think, because other than his, little
Bad
problems,
choices, absolutely.
bad choice, he was a good mayor. He
Absolutely
was a good
was.
mayor. He did a lot of good things.
Yep.
In fact, and I was going to bring this up to you about, we had Pride in Pawtucket.
Yep.
I think that there should be more trash barrels, and I don't mean the trash barrels in front of people's houses. I'm talking about trash barrels in front of businesses, especially in front of, I think every business, a liquor store or a grocery store should have a trash barrel in front of it. And maybe
It's a
it
segue.
maybe it should be the responsibility of that business to call for it to be emptied or whatever, but I think they should have it because a kid comes out of a store and he opens up a candy bar or a wrap and he throws it on the ground because he doesn't have any place to put it. And by the way, even in many cases, I'm sure even if the barrel was there, he'd still throw it on the ground.
Right.
Or the can of soda, the empty can or whatever.
Well,
What do you think?
It is actually one of the things that we're looking at. Maybe not in front of every business. I'm not sure logistically.
Well, I don't
we
mean
can
every
collect them.
business, but every business that does enough business to justify
You know what's
it.
funny? Not to cut you off,
No.
you talk about the new technology. So we've got the 10-mile bikeway at Path. And so one of the things, and what are they called? I forget.
Big belly.
Big belly, and they're actually solar powered with a computer or
Oh, wait a minute. What do they call him Big Belly? You?
Yeah,
no. Me or him, but no.
No,
I was gonna say I was gonna say fat belly, but then it would be but no.
No,
Big bellies
that's a
are
restaurant down in
yeah.
Pawtucket.
They're called big belly trash cans and recycling cans, and they actually have they have a solar chip in them.
Wow.
So they compact every so often, and when they fill up, they'll actually send out an email and say,
Cool.
"I'm full, come and empty me."
Well, they'll be stealing them.
You gotta lock them down and chain them. But
I
no.
know I'm going to get people mad at me if I don't ask this question. When people put out a sofa, or they put out a mattress, or a refrigerator, or a stove, or whatever, how does that work?
Well, if it's a mattress, the city charges $16 for each piece.
Well, how about if does it make any difference if it says twin, a queen, a king, or
It doesn't.
full?
Even infant size, we charge for them because we get charged as a city when we deliver them up to Johnston.
Okay, how about, you say mattress, how about a box spring?
Box springs are a separate charge. So if you had a mattress and a box spring,
$32.
it's $32.
No wonder they're being left along the sides of the road.
That's the challenge.
Why is it not? And I don't think this is your thing. Well, maybe it is.
Yep.
I think it's an enforcement thing. I think it belongs to the police department. Why? And it's not only in Pawtucket; it's the whole state. In the state, it looks like a wreck. You get on the highway, you see trash all over, and it really, really irritates me because I've done a lot of traveling. I've been all over the world, and I see the countries and the states close by in Canada. I was in Vermont over the weekend. You don't see trash in the city streets because you know why? They take it serious. If you drop trash, you're going to get your butt arrested or you're going to get fined. And how many people, in fact, Dan York was talking about this a couple weeks ago on TV, and I mean on radio, and I wanted to call in and talk to him to say, yeah, that's right. When they couldn't even, he talked to somebody in the state, they couldn't even tell how many people had been fined, or how few people had been fined for throwing trash out. I see people driving down the street throwing trash out. And my favorite story is I was in Providence one day over by India Point, and a car pulls aside of me at the red light, and he's got a grinder, as we call it, a hero, you would call it, right, a sub sandwich. He opens it up, and he starts eating the sandwich, and he takes the paper, it was rolled, he throws it out in the window, and it just drops between the cars. And I looked over at him, and I said, excuse me, the hell'd you do that for? He looked at me, and he gives me the bread, and he throws the sandwich at me. That was a real smart move. It cost him $8 or something, or $7 for the sandwich. He threw the sandwich at me, ended up on my hood, and he blasted away. I'm saying, real intelligent man right there.
That's really a challenge, you know, that people littering. The city spends so much money in trash.
Right.
When refuse, the municipal curbside collection, the litter patrols that we do around the city, picking up around all the baseball and soccer field, it's incredible how much the city actually spends doing that. And to see things like what you're talking about, you know, we see them too.
Right.
Somebody shucks the whole McDonald's bag out the window.
Yes, yes.
It's
And, well,
terrible.
there's where they need the trash bins, especially around the Burger Kings, McDonald's, the Wendy's, and all those places. I'm sure they are there, but they're full, most of them. They put out the smaller ones, but you need bigger ones near there, not right at their property, but close by.
And the other thing is when you do put them, and that's one of the things that
They
they're
light 'em
trying
on
to.
fire.
No, no, but you try to make sure you're picking them up, because then nothing worse than when you see it's overstuffed,
Exactly.
you know, in the maintenance. One of the things that we were able to do, and to Lance's credit, when we took the employees and shifted them around after the
Right.
privatization, is we're calling it a beautification team, looking at, we're gonna have more resources to be doing more of the cleanups, but at the end of the day, it's about an enforcement issue. You're absolutely right. No,
Absolutely.
I mean, we go out and we enforce the mattresses because we can control that. I couldn't tell you honestly, and I'd be interested. I'll probably look up the numbers tomorrow to see how many times the police department have written a ticket for trash.
I'll
You know what
bet you
I
it's
mean?
in single digits. I'll
I'm
bet
not,
you
I'm not taking that bet because I
I'll
think you're
bet you
right.
it's in single
yeah,
digits.
I bet you're right. You know, we go out with, you know, if somebody puts out a mattress and don't pick it up, one of the things that came with the MTG, the contractor was picking up, is now that before you had to call in and set some pickups up for the sofas, and I don't want to misspeak, but some of the bigger items, now you just put it out there and you don't have to worry about it. They're picking it up as part of
Right,
the trash
right.
day, you know?
Now, by the way, those bins are big enough. You could throw an old TV inside one of those bins.
You're not supposed to do that.
Oh, all right.
Put it in your neighbor's.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Put it in the neighbor's bin, Bob.
Well, we had a program back in the Surratt administration. We called it Pride in
yeah,
Pawtucket.
yeah.
And we put the bins out everywhere, and had this whole campaign about having pride in your city, and
Yeah.
that has a lot to say about what
Absolutely.
people in the schools, teaching the kids in the school, going into schools and teaching the kids, because if they learn at a young age that they can just throw things around, they're going to throw things around.
Bobby, not to cut you off, not being proud, I mean, that's one of the things that they're working on for next year, but you talk about what we've just been able to do in the schools, right?
Yep.
Most schools, all they did was recycle cardboard and paper, okay? So now there's dumpsters that are being dropped out there, we're encouraging it. So even in the schools, as much as we talk about recycling, it didn't happen because of storage. There are many justifications to why they couldn't. Now we're putting dumpsters out there with this contractor, they're working on it because they weren't doing it. You know,
Right.
for the businesses we're talking about next year with the contractor, what can we do? You know what I mean? Can we go out there and pick up? What can we put in the front? I think you're working on, I don't want to speak out of school, but you're talking about.
he's gotta.
Yeah, no. We're talking about the program that not to take credit, because I'm not, it's about, you know, what we're able to do with a little flexibility and sometimes with the budgets that we have. So,
Yep.
you know, talking about from the business aspect and working with them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things what we're trying to take a look at is how to get businesses in Pawtucket to recycle.
Right.
You know, and that's probably after the schools, it's probably our next biggest challenge. How to get folks to start putting the stuff in a way that we can collect it and remove it away from them. So over the next few months, that's been kind of one of my charges, is to take a look at that.
Well, don't the businesses pay separately? Don't they have to pay privately to have the trash taken away? Or you're talking about recyclable?
I'm not talking about trash, right? Because the city wouldn't pick up their
Right,
trash.
right.
The city
But
would be
recyclables?
interested in getting them to recycle.
Well, they would like that. I used to own a restaurant. I would have loved that.
And it also helps us too with our
yes.
tipping fees, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. That would be great.
So
But it's education. It
Yeah,
really
and
is.
Exactly right. It is education.
I was saying to Lance earlier, we were talking about recycling, and it took my wife and my children a long time to train me, because I was one of those folks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just throw it away.
throw it, you
yeah.
know what I mean? And you
Well,
start
my son
realizing-
was the same way. Zachary used to tell people, he'd be 5, 6 years old, Dad, look at them. They just threw that
Yep.
wrapper on the ground, and the mother did it, and then the kid did it too.
And so my kids would be like recycling. I was at an event over the weekend, and it killed me. It was funny because they didn't have a recycle. I would not or could not, because my wife has got me so trained. And
Right,
the kids,
right, yeah.
I put the can and the bottle on the table. I
believe
couldn't
that,
do it
too.
anymore. You know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. And that's what it comes. It comes down to how do you educate people, how do you reinforce it, and and get people to really understand the importance of it.
Well, speaking of the importance
Yep.
of, we're going to go to a clip in a minute, but before I go to the clip, No, maybe I should go to the clip first. We're going to go to the clip. Let's go to the clip. I want to show you, what do we got, Italy, right? I want to show you where I'm headed to this winter on Bob's Big Adventure. Give us a clip.
Into Umbria and on to the borders of Abruzzo before turning west toward the eternal city, Rome, once the center of a mighty empire. So sit back and fly with us over some of the most beautiful sights imaginable, starting with the great city of Florence. Florence is a monument to the Renaissance, the 14th century rebirth of classical ideas in art and architecture. Much of the Florence we see today is thanks to one powerful family who controlled this former city-state for over 300 years, the Medicis. Fabulously rich from banking, they fostered the greatest artists and architects of their day, from Michelangelo to Donatello, and made the city one of the marvels of the world. Among its many famous citizens was the man who gave his name to South and North America, Amerigo Vespucci. Towering over the city is the orange-tiled dome of the cathedral, designed by Brunelleschi. No one had dared to build a dome on this scale before. It was a monumental feat of engineering design and has dominated the skyline of Florence for 600 years. There are spectacular views from the dome and the Campanile, or bell tower, which was begun in 1334 and covered in green, pink, and white marble from the Tuscan hills. Florence is a city of orange and red pan-tiled roofs, enclosing tight-packed streets. They open onto handsome squares, such as the Piazza Repubblica, built on the site of the old Roman Forum. Today's citizens love to sit here and gossip as the world goes by. The River Arno cuts the city in two and is crossed by one of the most famous bridges in Italy, the Ponte Vecchio, built in 1345. Butchers, blacksmiths, and tanners once inhabited the shops. Today, it's occupied by jewelers, goldsmiths, and curio shops. In medieval walled cities, space was at a premium. Every inch, even on bridges, was used. On top of the bridge runs the covered Corridoio Vasariano, named after its architect Giorgio Vasari. It's a private passageway used by the Medici family to walk between their residences, unseen by the public or possible assassins.
Italy, huh?
Yeah.
That's where I want to go. Twice in the past. Now, I've been to more than 36 countries, and I've never been to Italy.
All right. I'm going to watch for the show because that's
Yes,
the only
yes.
way I'm going to be able to enjoy it.
Do you know that Italy has, I was in Somerset Mall, I think it was Somerset, Swansea
Swansea Mall, yeah.
when Zachary
Yeah.
was small, we're walking down the middle of the mall, all of a sudden inside, Zachary goes, Dad, look. And they had this whole display of shoes, Italian shoes, and they were Venturini shoes.
Oh, so
And
you
now
got-
I find out they have Venturini wine. I guess it's a pretty popular name in northern Italy, in the Tuscany region of Italy. And my family,
so you're going there and claiming steak?
I'm claiming, yeah, I get a piece of the action. I want a piece of the action. Well, I saw about, it had to be 15 years ago at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium. They had an opera singer there come into town to sing Bruno Venturini. So I went down there, and come to find out, sure enough, he was a long-distance third cousin or something.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the family,
I went to see him. I went
the
to visit
bloodline's
him.
good.
Listen,
Yes,
last
sir.
year you guys turned out big for my Toys for Tots. I've been
Yep.
doing the Toys for Tots for 20 years. This is my 20th year at the Warwick Mall doing the Toys for Tots. And it's now their biggest event, they tell me. The single one-night biggest
Biggest
event.
event, yep.
And it's made possible by a lot of businesses And the city of Pawtucket, man, they really chimed in, especially last year. You guys really
The
did
Marines ran it. You know, with the Marines, with the Poor Sox, they brought everybody together.
yep.
It was a great combination, so it did, you know.
Well, look what I got for you,
All
that
right.
kid. Look what I got for you. Not many
Yeah,
people
we'll
got
have the-
these, right?
Yep. The Toys for Tots. Thank
Not
you very
many
much.
people got that. Lance, I couldn't leave you
Oh,
out.
thank
People will be
Take that
saying,
back to
where did you
Arizona."
get that? It has two clips on the back,
Yep.
so you can't lose it. 'Cause I lost one clip, but I actually got another one.
You stole one.
I got another clip. No, these are beautiful.
Yeah, they are nice. And they're a great cause.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you.
you know, and Bob,
Yes.
to your credit, you know what I mean? A lot of hard work. You don't realize how much time you put into it and the promotion and stuff. And it's good that you have the personality, you've got the show, you know what I mean? And you
That's
do.
why I started the show, you know.
Was it really originally
Somebody
for
asked me that a long time ago. Why did you start doing TV in the first? I said I started doing television because I wanted to be the Rhode Island version of Jerry Lewis, and to promote Toys for Tots.
Oh.
And it kind of has worked out that way.
I think you've surpassed Jerry Lewis.
With Toys for Tots, baby.
But no,
But not surpassed him. No, he made some serious money, but he got paid for it. He did. No, but it's amazing how much and how well people open their hearts and their pocketbooks for Toys for Tots in the state. Do you know? Oh, by the way, I'll give you another statistic. Do you know Rhode Island is? Again, proportion to size and population, we're the biggest givers in the United States of any state.
No, really?
Yes, we give more money per person than any other state. Do you know that? To
No, I
charity.
didn't.
Yes, we do.
That's a pretty good statistic.
It is. It is.
something to be proud of. You're absolutely right.
It is. And this year, the Toys for Tots is December 10th. It's at the Warwick Mall. And last year, you guys,
Yeah, the city,
City of
absolutely, yep.
Pawtucket gave us the space over there. To give the Marines the space downtown Pawtucket.
They're working out the space. I know the police were involved, DPW very involved. You know what I mean? And it was a great group effort because everybody does. You know what I mean?
Yes. And
a
it
cause.
put together a ton of stuff down there. I brought in a ton of stuff and also put out a ton of stuff.
yeah.
My job is to collect it. I don't want to distribute it. I want to collect it.
It was unbelievable to see how that operation worked. You know, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, you got to taste it at
Absolutely.
first hand to see
Yeah.
how the stuff goes out.
great,
You know,
yeah.
we bring it in and you guys send it out.
Yep,
You know, the
they did,
Marines
so.
get there at my event, the Toys for Tots. You get to see it this year. We have no less than 20 Marines on stage, between 20 and 30, Corey. 20 and 32 Marines we have every year down there at the Warwick Mall. We do a 4-hour show, and it's ironic because normally I can't go an hour without hitting the bathroom, an hour and a half, getting not being a kid anymore.
That's why you only do the
That's
hour
why I
with
only
Bob.
do an hour show. But I do over 4 hours on stage, huh, John? Never leaving the stage. Over 4 hours. It's a 4-hour show, but I'm up on stage long before we start, and I'm up on stage even after it's over. And I don't even think about it.
Yeah, time goes by.
It goes by, and I think you sweat it out or something. It's amazing to me. And the people that come down there and the businesses that participate. I got all the Navigant credit unions. I got all the Cello's restaurants. I got the Mozzarella's restaurants. I got there's so many businesses that participate, individual businesses and the city of Pawtucket, some police departments, some fire departments. Everybody comes and they bring a load of toys representing the West Warwick JCs come down with a ton of toys. I mean, it's amazing how many people that show, and there's 3 or 4 groups that ambushed me years ago. This one woman, I say ambushed me because she really killed me. She come on the stage. I didn't notice her T-shirt she had. I noticed she had something on it, but I really wasn't looking at it. And she come on the stage with 3 or 4 other people, and all carrying bags of toys. It's just those big black construction bags full of toys. And I go, wow, where did you get all these toys? How'd you get all these toys? Explain it to me. She goes, yeah, we collected. We had car washes, and we did this and that, and we collected all the toys. I says, wow, that's amazing. What possessed you to do all that? She goes, for my son, in honor of my son. And I go, your son? Her son was killed in Iraq. 4 years. This was 2006. Her son was killed in Iraq. And Saint Germain. His name is Brian Saint Germain. And it just, set me off right there on the stage. I'm going, oh my God. Right. You didn't know. And then she says, oh, and here, and she says, I got something else for you. And she hands me an envelope. And I think that year it was like $700 or something.
Yep.
Last year it was what, $2,800 she had in an envelope.
Yep.
Besides enough toys to fill a pickup truck.
That's a good story.
And she does 6 or 7 events in the course of the year. And she, in fact, I wanted to go to her last event. I'm going to one. She got an event coming up this month in October, the end of October. But I missed her last one because I had a show that night. I couldn't go, but I'd love to go to the event. This woman just, and by the way, she's not the only one. There's like there's 3 or 4 other kids. The girl that got killed.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name. I went to the damn wake. It was
Yeah.
tearjerker. She's
Yeah.
a Marine also, and they had the 21 gun salute over there where my brother Victor's buried
Yep.
at Exeter Cemetery.
Cemetery, yeah.
And her father come on the stage. Oh my God, what a difficult time it had to be for him and for me. The
Yeah,
guy's trying to
yeah.
explain just who he was.
Was,
And when he
yeah,
did, I said, oh my God, I realized. I said, I knew the guy when he came up on the stage, and I'm saying, why do I know this guy? And then when I
Yeah.
ever started talking about his daughter,
Daughter,
I went,
yeah.
I knew it right away, what was going on.
It's tough,
And
yep.
there's 3
The
or 4 of them.
sacrifice. No, the sacrifice that they make, absolutely, you know?
In fact, I have, and I don't know what happened. Tonight we have a banner we put up every show. I put up since the first group was sent to Iraq, the Marines and the Army. I went down to where they were being sent out, and they all signed the banners that left, and I think 4 of them didn't make it since then. But anyway, thank you, and thank the
No.
city of Pawtucket for your unbelievable effort.
Listen,
getting us the location to put the stuff there and helping us with distribution and the collection and
How's it?
everything.
Sometimes it all falls together, Bobby. You
It
know what I mean?
did, though.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely,
did.
you
It was
know?
amazing. I'm very proud of you guys. You
Yeah, they
you
did a good
nice
job.
job.
They really
you
did.
You did, obviously. You all
Yep.
put it together.
Yep,
It was
absolutely.
because we
Look,
used
it's
to have to
certainly
go.
not
They had
me,
to go to.
it's my guys.
You know where they had to
Work
go
for
the
it.
year before?
Oh,
Newport.
oh, really?
That's where the stuff was sent, down
Yeah.
to Newport. We'd pick it up in Warwick, collected in Warwick, and it was sent to Newport because they were closed down at the Fields Point because
Yep.
they were redoing it. The government was redoing it.
So they got to
So they
use it.
shipped it down to Newport. I go, that's ridiculous. So it's good. So we're gonna get Pawtucket again?
Yep, I believe so. There's no issues, so we still have, unfortunately, we still have the vacant space that's there.
Don't say where it is because you don't want people going over there too early. You don't want them going over there too
So
early.
yeah. Unfortunately, we have the space available,
You
Bob,
have
so
the
it'll work
space.
out. Absolutely.
All right, with Don Grebien, the mayor of the city of Pawtucket, and Lance Hill. And Lance, I got to ask you another thing about the trash because people have asked me this, and I want to know too. When you come to the trash, we talked about the mattresses and box springs, refrigerators.
Refrigerators,
Stoves,
refrigerators and
appliances.
freezers are
Okay,
separate. They
okay.
carry a fee.
They carry a fee.
Yeah, because there's a certain, they have to do certain treatment to them to
Now-
get rid of everything.
Oh, because of the Freon or
Freon,
whatever.
right.
Now, do you still have to take the door off them? I mean, I don't think so because they're mostly magnets. They're not like
Yeah,
the olden days where they had
Most
the latch
most
on
of them are safe, right? That was the problem with the old ones.
Yeah, they
If
had
you
a
had somebody
magnet. I
inside,
mean, they had a
you can't-
latch
you couldn't
on
get
them,
out,
yeah.
right? Right. So no, you don't have to take the doors off. But you just call us up. We'll come down and we'll pick it up. $16 is that fee as well.
$16, okay. How about wood?
Wood,
Cut
like,
it 3 feet,
yep,
Lance?
3 foot in length, bundled in 75-pound bundles. That way the guys can pick them up and toss them right.
Okay,
into the
now
back.
it does make a difference if it's wood like pallets or furniture, does it not?
Well, wood furniture and fabric furniture, there's no appointments required. You set
Sofa you're talking about? Like
one
that?
sofa. You can
Yep.
put it right out every week, and the collection people will come by and take it away. Just
Now,
like
does that
normal.
cost anything?
That does not cost anything.
Why the heck doesn't a sofa's bigger than a damn...
Because, Bob, it's the fees that we have to pay to
I
the
know,
state.
I
No,
know.
you know what I mean? That becomes the charge, you know what I mean?
You got to send it back. I don't want to pay it. I don't
Yeah.
want to pay for theirs.
Right.
But you end up doing it because they dump it somewhere.
So
That's
now-
why you gotta enforce the rules and the laws on
On the pickup.
People
and
making
the trash
a mess,
and the dumping.
making
Yeah,
a mess.
absolutely.
I think that's important. All right, last words there, Mayor.
No, just thanks for the opportunity, Bob. I look forward to coming back again. I really do. I had a good time, so.
Well, thank you for spending
Thank
an
you, my
hour with
friend. Good to
Bob,
see
and
you.
thank you for helping us out with the Toys for Tots.
Again, we get, as I said at the top, we get credit. It's really about everybody else that did the work, and thank you for all you do, so.
And Lance, thank you for
Yeah.
stopping by. And,
It's my pleasure.
well, nice to have you here from all the way from
Arizona.
Arizona, boy. You part Indian?
No.
Southwest American Indian? That's an Apache down there, right?
Yeah, well,
They were Apaches down there, weren't they?
in Navajo, Apache.
Navajo, that's where
true.
Geronimo hung out, wasn't it?
Geronimo, that's your connection to how we all started here. Morinci, where I grew up, that was Geronimo's stomping grounds.
Really?
It was, yeah.
And
there a
truly,
bloodline there or no?
truly his stomping ground, right? True. He did a lot of stomping there. So, folks, thank you for spending an hour with Bob, and until next time, see you.